finances for their prescriptions as well as dialysis of their kidneys. You can help our brothers and sisters with purchases of prescriptions for just £20, and for £200 help a patient with a dialysis procedure. To donate or for more information, visit www.imamhusseincharity.com.
So what does Imam Hussein TV mean to me? It's a hard one. I'll be totally honest with you, Imam Hussein TV is my life.
It's been part of my journey to develop myself, to improve my learning and understanding of many subjects that I never knew before.
And also, as a parent, it has helped me bring up my kids, bring them up in a way where they can, in the future, become servants of the Holy Prophet.
Imam Hussein TV is a reminder of religion and Imam Hussein and how I should be a better person, even though it doesn't come naturally.
They really help me connect with Allah. They really help me connect with my religion, understand religion. Shows like Ahkam SOS, as I'm helping film, help set up. It just inspired me to learn about Islam, to encourage me to follow my deen and to spread it. I go to university, I spread that message throughout there. I try and share that message that I learn here.
The biggest blessing of my life was being able to serve and work at the same time.
So Imam Hussein TV to me is like a home away from home. Over here when I come in, even though everyone has their own opinion of Imam Hussein TV, as a staff member it's different, and for me it's like a sense of family. It's hard work, struggles, but at the same time there's a lot of creativity, there's passion.
When I received that one email from that one viewer saying, "Thank you Imam Hussein TV for providing me with live feed from Karbala. Thank you for giving me Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam in my home." That's what makes my job so precious to me.
There's a movement and a campaign for us to provide a better service for those people in the West, to have the message of the Ahlul Bayt in English, and also to bring Imam Hussein to the masses and to the world.
I have to ask myself every day, every month, Murtada, what are you going to do? What are you going to show on the channel in the following months to benefit the views of Imam Hussein alayhi salam? Myself, I may be in the UK, I may have 20, 30 odd Husseiniat masajid to go to and learn during these occasions. But working at the channel, you need to think of those viewers who do not have any Husseiniat, who do not have any books in their city or in their country. It should be a duty upon every Shi'i person in this world to give back to Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Ahkam SOS, the show that discusses Islamic duties and practices. And this is a live show where we do take all your questions. So you may have a question in regards to Islamic law. It may be on marriage, it could be on finance, it could be on business, traveling, any topic, any question whatsoever. Please send them in anonymously to the WhatsApp number. You can call into the studio 0203 515 0199. There should be a little QR code in the corner somewhere over there. You can scan the QR code and take you to our Linktree page. And over there you can see other ways of us of viewing our show, as well as sending in your questions. And inshallah, myself and the Sheikh will be able to discuss and answer all of your questions. I'm your host, Mohsin Shah, and joining me is Sheikh Ali Maash. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
How are you, Sheikhna? It's good to see you.
Fine,
how's things been?
All well.
Did you have a good weekend?
Alhamdulillah.
MashaAllah. Sheikhna, with your permission, we've got many questions to go through, and inshallah there'll be loads of questions also coming in from our viewers. So let us begin, and that is the obedience of the Ahlul Bayt wajib?
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطاهرين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين. In Kitab al-Kafi we have a hadith with this regard in which a man with the name of Sudayr, one of the Ashab Imam al-Baqir alayhi salam, he asks Imam Abi Ja'far al-Baqir alayhi salam that what is your reality or haqiqat? Ma antum, what are you? Your status is your position. So the Imam responds, Salamullah, until he reaches this part of the hadith to answer the question asked. He says, وَنَحْنُ الْحُجَّةُ الْبَالِغَةُ. We are Allah's proof, the clear, the visible proof. وَلِلَّهِ الْحُجَّةُ الْبَالِغَةُ. As Allah says in the Holy Quran. Allah has hujjah baligha, visible, clear proof over the people of the earth, because they are the mukallafeen to worship Allah Azza wa Jal, but with means, with wasila. He doesn't speak to them directly. He would send prophets and messengers and vicegerents to be able to communicate with his people. Therefore the Imam says, وَنَحْنُ الْحُجَّةُ الْبَالِغَةُ عَلَى مَنْ دُونِ السَّمَاءِ وَمَنْ فَوْقَ الْأَرْضِ. For those who are under the sky and who are on the earth, those who walk on the earth, in other words, over the human beings and mankind, that we are the hujjah upon them from Allah Azza wa Jal. And that being as a hujjah, it means that this individual who is hujjah over the people, a proof from Allah Azza wa Jal, he must also be appointed by Allah through His messenger and the Prophet, not just to be chosen by people. You can't have somebody who was chosen by people to be hujjatullah ala al-ard, because he has no means of communication with Allah Azza wa Jal, with His Prophet. To know ilmul kitab, ilmul kitab is only given to those who have connection in somehow with Allah Azza wa Jal, through the Prophet, the messenger, the angels and so forth. So this shows that clearly, and through different verses of the Quran, that Allah purified Ahlul Bayt, thorough purification. Ayat al-Tathir in Surah Al-Ahzab, very clear. 33. Only these individuals deserve to have this position of being hujjatullah al-ard, the proof of Allah Azza wa Jal on earth, and deliver and continue the message of the Prophet of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to the rest of the mankind till the Day of Judgment.
Excellent. Sheikh, we've got some questions already coming in from YouTube, and my iPad has turned off. Just bear with me 1 second. But there was one question in regards to having multiple niyyah for nafil for the marhum. So if I want to pray 2 rakat, and I have the niyyah for, I'm going to do it for my grandfather, my grandmother, their parents, my marhum uncles, from my mother's side, father's side, and so forth. Can we have like a multiple niyyah and just perform 2 rakah nawafil for the marhum?
Yeah, the mustahabbat is open, as I've said last episode about someone reciting Surah Al-Fatiha for the whole graveyard.
Yes.
And he saw in a dream that they all received the rewards. So for the mustahab is open in terms of the niyyah, to parents, relatives, friends, and mu'mineen in general, marhumin. So that should be fine in terms of sending the thawab to more than one person for a mustahab act.
I see. Further, more questions coming in from YouTube. How many takbirat at the beginning, takbiratul ihram, can one perform? I've heard it is mustahab to do 7. So, at the beginning when you say Allahu Akbar and you begin your prayer, how many is mustahabat to do?
Well, the mustahab in overall there are 7 takbirat. Within the 7, one of them should be wajib takbirah.
Okay.
So you would say, for example, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. That's 6 mustahab. And the last one, Allahu Akbar, the actual takbirah to open your salah.
So you have like 6 warm up and then one that you actually go in with, mashallah. Very interesting question here from YouTube, Sheikhna. Can we read Mullah Sadra's books? Mullah Sadra, very famous for his philosophical books. I think he was from Iran, buried in Basra, and this is going back about 600, 700 years. We were discussing it today in class, some of his work. Can we read Mullah Sadra's books? Sheikhna, from your studies and from the houses that you went to, what was the stance on reading text by Mullah Sadra?
You see, many of our ulama would not really encourage to read the books of the Urafa or the Falasifa. In overall, we've seen this in Hawzat al-Najaf. Many of the ulama came forward and said, no to the lessons and durus of
as a video
against it. So one should avoid such subjects to have a clean and safe aqidah.
Okay. From WhatsApp, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. Do you have any knowledge of how many years Prophet Adam lived? Scientific discoveries show human beings being present on earth hundreds of thousands of years ago.
Don't have that accurate information now.
Yes, that's actually a really good question. As in because at that time there wasn't much to record time and history and so forth. So, inshallah, with the Imam, the answer, inshallah. Sheikhna, what advice do you have for reverts, especially how they, integrate with their family? Now, their family members could be part of Ahl al-Kitab, and also they could be outside the Ahl al-Kitab. So, I know reverts from Hindu background, Sikh background, Buddhist background, and then we have reverts who came from Christianity and Judaism and so forth. So, how do these people, go about performing some of the ahkam? How should they do it? Let's say things within the kitchen and food-wise, according to His Eminence the Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Sistani.
The Sayyid in overall would give advice that to keep a good relationship with those relatives and especially parents who are still in their aqidah of being non-Muslims, that one should treat them very well with respect, and to show the akhlaq of the Islam, the akhlaq of the Quran, the akhlaq of the Holy Prophet and his pure family at the best way and method, so that he might be attracted towards Islam and he might be the sabab or the cause and the reason for them to convert to Islam as well. So very important that we practice this akhlaq, practice these great instructions and narrations by Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, and their legacy into our life, so we can attract others.
Ahsan. Sheikhna, is it permissible for me to hold the Quran when I'm performing salah, whether it is a wajib salah or a mustahab salah, whether it is a prayer which is read silently or read loudly? Maybe I don't know my surahs very well off by heart and so forth, so can I hold the Quran, even if it's on my phone, and read from there when I'm performing my salah?
Yes, there's no problem. The one can do so, especially if you want to read longer verses, which is recommended for the one to prolong his salah. Instead of us praying 4 minutes, 5 minutes for each salah, pray 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Read the long surah, Surah Al-Saf, Surah Al-Jum'ah for the day of Jum'ah, Friday. Other surahs, we have narrations mention the thawab and the reward of the one who prays these, recites these surah in his salah, wajib salah. So if one can do so, why not?
I think it's important to mention also, you must recite the whole surah from the beginning to the end.
Yes.
You can't start and do a couple of lines, or pick some ayat from the middle and this and that. You must recite the whole surah from beginning to end in our salah, according to the Shia fiqh. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. What is the ruling in the matter of the meat or skin of an animal sold by Muslims, especially when it is known it was ritually slaughtered, according to the fatwa of His Eminence the Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Sistani, Hafidullah?
One should assume this type of meat or the skin of an animal to be pure and tahir and halal because you bought it from the Muslims. So what we have now is the Muslim market, which is hujjah upon us, that it allows us to buy and consume this meat or use the skin as a clothing, for example. So that's actually, there's no worry about it. You don't have to investigate and research about it because the seller is a Muslim or the market is a Muslim market. But of course, if you discover that it's the opposite, in which he is bringing haram meat, for example, of course you have to avoid, even if it was in a Muslim country.
Sheikh, I believe we have a phone call, so we're going to go straight to the phone call and help this viewer with their question. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. I have a question.
Please, your question to the Sheikh.
So yesterday there was a partial eclipse, and at the time I wasn't able to pray. Do I still have to pray now, knowing that there was a partial eclipse?
Thank you very much for your question, sister. Sheikhna, yesterday in London there was a partial eclipse. I think it was between the hours of 11 and 12, I believe. And also it was seen in Europe and in Asia and so forth. So what is the Islamic ruling in regards to Salat al-Ayat? Because it was a partial eclipse, is it wajib? Is it mustahab? If I missed it, do I have to pray the qadha? How does it work?
If one misses the partial eclipse, in other words, they never knew about it until they were told after the elapse of the time of the eclipse, because it's partial, there's no qada for it. You don't have to do the qada. So there's no issue with it then. If they haven't prayed it, then they can just...
Fine. But if it was a full eclipse, then you'd
Yeah, that's the difference.
Interesting. Interesting. Sheikhna, is it mandatory for a woman to acquire knowledge and Islamic beliefs just as they are obligatory for a man? The kind of knowledge one should learn as the first step in the purification of one's soul, enabling one to refrain from the prohibited and to discharge one's obligatory duties.
Yes, there's a narration which says that seeking knowledge is an obligation upon every male, and also another narration, every male and female. So there's an emphasis in Islam that both male and the female, they seek knowledge because they have issues, daily issues, living issues, buying, selling, dealing with issues which are pure, impure, for example, marital relations and so forth. These are all masail and ahkam in which one should at least know the basics. For example, to know how you perform the wudu correctly, how to pray correctly. That's very important. That's wajib upon every individual to know at least how to pray and how to perform the wudu and so forth. Basic ahkam must be known, otherwise you're going to fall into the issue of repeating all your salah for the past 30, 40 years.
I mean, even when you look at the Risala Amaliyah of majority of Maraja who are pictured behind me, it starts with Tahara. Tahara is always the first chapter because you need to be pure in order to perform most of your wajib acts of salah and ibadat. So I guess it's very, very important, especially for Muslims, if they want to practice an Islamic lifestyle, to be very, very well versed with the ahkam. And Imam Hussein TV is giving you a show here for you to learn ahkam. And to all the viewers who are watching, if there's any questions you have on any topic in regards to Islam, Islamic law especially, please send them in to Ahkam SOS. You can send it via the WhatsApp. You can give us a call in like your sister just did, 0203 515 0199, or the QR code which is over there. You can scan and that will take you to a link tree page where you can have other platforms to watch and send in your questions. If you're watching on Facebook Live or on YouTube, please put your questions in the comment section and the technical team will send them to me via my iPad here. Sheikhna, is it permissible for a sister to travel without permission, especially when it's for seeking knowledge? What if if she travels, there's going to be no dangers, it's going to be safe? Does she require her husband's permission?
One of the wajibat, I think, or the rights of the husbands, the rights of the husband, of course, is to have the right to ask, for the wife to ask permission before she leaves for the house. And I've mentioned why, the reason before, that this will protect both sides, and some kind of respect to the husband, and also to keep this relationship with each other in a good way, in the best way and method. So yes, she needs to ask for permission for travel, for example, but she can go by herself alone, let's say to ziyarah, to any trip, to see her family abroad, without any mahram, for example. That's not a wajib for her to travel with a mahram, as long as she is safe in her journey and she basically observe the hijab and so forth. Muharramat is not practiced, for example. But in anyhow, both sides, they have rights in terms of the husband to respect her, to spend on her, wajib al-nafaqa, and not to oppress her, and other wajibat in which they have to appreciate.
Inshallah. Shaykh, a question here coming from WhatsApp, and that's in regards to the eclipse, the lunar eclipse that happened, or the solar eclipse. If a sister is in Hayd and she's on her monthly cycle, what is the hukum upon her? Does she have to pray at qadha, or is she, she doesn't have to pray at all, or she's exempted? How does it work for someone?
Not wajib to do that.
Yeah?
No.
Oh, not wajib?
No.
Okay, fantastic. Another question coming in. Assalamu alaikum, Shaykhna. The fixed term marriage or mut'ah, is it valid even if it is not intended to be for pleasure?
Yes, of course. One wants to have somebody in his flat to cook, to clean.
I see.
For example, take care of the house or the flats. For this purpose only. Yeah, that should be fine.
I see. Is it permissible for a mu'min to stand alone in a row? A ma'moom to stand alone in a row. This must be with Salah Jama'ah. Shaykhna, in regards to Salah and Jama'ah, what do they recommend? Not to have gaps? Should we be very, very close, shoulder to shoulder, or should we be normal, standing with some distance apart? Should there be gaps in? Is that okay, or should we fill up all the rows? How does it work?
If there are empty rows in front of you, then try to fill them. Don't stand behind the lines alone. That's makruh, discouraging anyhow. So try to fill all these gaps in the rows, in the front rows, and pray with the jama'ah. That's the meaning of jama'ah, to be with the jama'ah, to pray and of course gain the thawab as a result.
Excellent. Shaykhna, we have a phone call, I believe, from one of the viewers. Inshallah, we'll be able to answer their question. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah, Sayyidina.
How are you? Are you okay, brother?
How are you? You okay?
Alhamdulillah.
Assalamu alaikum, Shaykhna. How are you?
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Please, brother, your question to the Shaykh.
Ya Allah, Bismillah. Shaykhna, I'm in a dilemma at the moment. And what it is, I work with children in care. And the children that I work with, they are aged between 15 and 16.
Okay.
And what it is, very recently, one of the children has been having personal problems where they're becoming distressed and they have anxiety. And as a result of this, they've been smearing. And there's been a few occasions where they poo on the floor, and the poo sort of is on the rug and stuff like this.
Okay.
So what we did in my workplace is we used our current washing machine to wash all his clothes.
Okay.
Okay, and we also have a dryer to dry all the clothes. Now, before this, I used to wash my personal clothes because I pray at work, and I need to access the washing machine for my personal clothes while I'm working on the shift. So what I discovered is, since you had this episode and these episodes started to increase, I stopped using the washing machine, and I want to find out whether it's nejis for me to continue to use the same washing machine that became nejis.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I understand your question. So the main thing you're asking is that clothes are washed in the washing machine. Sometimes they have najasa, such as stools and so forth. And are you allowed to wash your clothes in that machine?
Exactly.
It's the question, do you want to ask, is it a separate load or in the same load?
No, it's what it is that when this child had this episode of the smearing and pooing, right, we just had this phase of just using that one particular washing machine all the time.
That's fine.
And because now he stopped it, and then I want to start to use the washing machine.
Okay.
I don't know whether I can still use that washing machine or not?
Okay,
And including the dryer.
As far as I know, the answer is very straightforward and very easy for you as well. I'm going to pass over to the Sheikh now. But thank you so much for your question, inshallah. Thank you for your work as well with the social care. We really appreciate what you're doing for these young kids as well. Inshallah, the Sheikh will answer your question.
Thank you very much.
Sheikhna, what I know from washing machines is that they are connected to pipes, and therefore it is considered to be cold water, not qaleel water. So, based on that, surely the clothes that are washed are tahir, surely the machine is tahir. That's from my understanding and knowledge. But Sheikh, I'm going to ask you, I hope you understood the question quite straightforward. There was najasa and stuff in the washing machine, or with the clothes that were put into the washing machine. They've been washed and everything. The brother wants to know now, can I use the washing machine, or do I need to wash the whole thing inside out and make sure it's tahir? Tafadhal, Sheikhna, please.
Inshallah. The initial hukum of using public washing machines and tumble dryers, that's the initial hukum. As long as you haven't seen any najasa inside those machines, then you can use them. Outside in the streets, the laundry shops, at work, hospitals, and so forth. They're all tahir. Unless you discover there's najasa, then of course you have to avoid, especially the tumble dryers. Otherwise, they're all tahir.
I see.
The second hukum about what the brother Jazakallah asked, what Ayatollah Sistani mentions in his fatwa, that before washing the clothes, basically, and there's najasa in the clothes, you have to first rinse, apply water, pure clear water, rinse, and then after this cycle, you apply the detergents and then you wash it. In this way, everything will be tahir inside that machine.
So, am I correct in thinking it's the traditional, remove the najasa?
Exactly.
The area where the najasa had touched, you rinse that 3 times.
No, the machine will do it automatically.
So, remove the najasa, physical najasa from the clothes.
You can touch or click on the rinse button on your machine. So when it does the rinse water, and then you apply the detergents, and then you click on wash.
I see.
That's all be done automatically, so you don't have to worry about it. In this way, that clothes najis will becomes tahir.
It's removed and it's tahir.
In this way.
To worry. Thank you very much, Sheikh. I think you've saved that brother a lot of hassle. MashaAllah. From WhatsApp, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. Are there any books where we can get hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? I'm assuming this person is asking something along the lines that in the Sunni school of thought that they have hadith in regards to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They've got their 6 sahih and so forth. Likewise, the Shia school of thought, do we have a book where we have the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam?
I mean, these hadith are inside huge books like Bihar al-Anwar, for example, to go and search on the section of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his life, for example, biography, for example, is a hadith. You might find also in Kitab al-Kafi, for example, in some of the hadith. I think one of the ulama wrote about Sirat of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I think Sayyid Murtada al-Amali, if I'm not wrong, and others who have wrote specific books about Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in which you will find their hadith, those hadith inside those books. So yes, one can go and specifically choose the chapter related to the hadith of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Sheikhna, question here from WhatsApp. Assalamu alaikum. Is red wine vinegar and white wine vinegar tahir and halal to use? Good question there, Sheikhna. Red wine vinegar and white wine vinegar. Sometimes you even have rice wine vinegar, which is used in Chinese cooking quite a lot. These are vinegars that have originally they come from red wine, white wine, rice wine, and so forth. But they've been boiled and they've gone through some sort of istihala. The alcohol has totally been removed. There is no alcohol whatsoever in these vinegars. Are these halal and tahir for us to use?
Yes, indeed. One of the what is known as mutahhirat that we have in the fiqh, in the shara', that the transformation of wine into vinegar. Inqilab al-khamr khal. This inqilab, transformation, in which it takes away all the attributes and features of the intoxication and alcohol. Now we have just normal vinegar. It's halal to consume. There's no issue with it. Because now you are dealing with completely different substance. The taste is different. The effects of intoxication has been taken away, and so.
Sheikh, now we're going to go to a short break. Join us after the break as myself and the Sheikh will continue our discussion here on Ahkam SOS.
I have a question regarding keeping pictures of scholars. Is it permissible to plant trees by or over
Islam
the
established based on peace and non-violence?
Is it permissible to collect donations for charity projects from
Is it permitted to consume canned food imported from non-Muslim countries?
Is there an issue for men looking at non-Muslim women? To have your questions answered live, call in on +44 2035 150199 or WhatsApp us on +44 7415 092155. Alternatively, you can also email us on ahkamsos@imamhussein.tv.
Every day, communities across the globe are in need of safe sources of water for drinking, washing, cooking, rearing livestock and watering crops. Yet for these millions of people, this basic human right is out of reach. Imam Hussein Charity aims to build water wells in Afghanistan, providing fresh and clean water for those in need. Your donations could help us build a water well. Water is the source of life. Help us to provide our brothers and sisters with this basic necessity. To donate or for more information, visit www.imamhusseincharity.com.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to Ahkam SOS, the show that discusses Islamic duties and practices. Now, if you have a question that you'd like to ask, please send them in via the WhatsApp, or if you're watching on Facebook Live or YouTube, you can put it in the comments section. You can give us a call live in the studio. We've already had 2 calls, 0203 515 0199. And inshallah, myself and the Sheikh will be able to discuss and answer your questions. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna.
Assalamu alaikum.
More questions coming in from our viewers, and let's start with YouTube. Assalamu alaikum. When pouring water on the face from the top of the face, some water naturally reaches the front hairs. So when wiping the head, it is an issue if the hand touches the wet hairs. Okay, I see. So Sheikhna, when we are doing wudu and we wash the face, the fringe, these front hairlines, sometimes they get wet. When we do mas'ah, is it a problem if we touch these hairs or not?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. As long as you have done the masah on top of your head and it was dry, that should be fine. There's no issue with it.
Fair enough. From YouTube, respected, do we have to do istikhara before wearing certain stones on the first time, like sapphire? So, the rings, aqiq, yaqut, faroza, and so forth. Do we have to do an istikhara before we put them on to see if these stones are suitable for us or not?
I haven't heard anything about this issue, but as I've said, istikhara is in the time of doubts and hesitation. So if you have no hesitant, no issues, then you can just wear it and say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, wear it. Should be no issue with it.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. According to Shia Islam, how did Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam die? Was he poisoned?
Indeed, we have narrations with this regard in Kitab Tafsir al-Qummi and other sources. Kitab, I think others mention this incident that he was poisoned just before his death, his demise from this world.
From YouTube again, Assalamu alaikum. Please, if my wording or anything is wrong, I apologize, but please discuss general topic with sahab in the way you think would be appropriate. The topic with sahab, or probably sahabi, maybe the companions. Sheikh, a few words on the Jafri school of fiqh and our stance, our position with the Sahaba of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
I mean, this is all in the Holy Quran. You don't have to go back to the books of narrations and seerah and tafsir, the Quran says that that if the Prophet dies or gets killed, and I've mentioned this before in a documentary about that aw means rather and not may, because Allah is not hesitating in this issue, that he was killed indeed, rather he was killed, that you turn against him and you would be against his progeny, as we all, the history writes and mentions that they went against the Prophet's family as a result, and they've established this Saqifa gathering and they chose their own Khalifa and so forth, and ignored the appointment of Ali alayhi salam on the day of Ghadir, just 70 something days before the Prophet's demise. So that's what happened, that the Sahaba themselves انقلبوا على عقابهم, as the Quran says, not us, not our hadith. The Quran says انقلبتم على عقابكم. So that's the problem. They've caused this great disunity within the Muslims, not Ahlul Bayt and nor even their Shia.
Sheikh, I believe we have a phone call on the line. Inshallah, we'll be able to get through to them. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, brother. How are you?
I'm very, very well, thank you. Your question, please, sister, for the Sheikh.
So my question is, do lash extensions invalidate wudu?
Can you say that again, please? Sorry, I didn't get that.
Do lash extensions invalidate wudu?
Lash extensions, no problem. Thank you very much, sister. Inshallah, the Sheikh will answer your question now.
Jazakallah, thank you.
No problem. Sheikh, now, lash extensions, as you are aware, some of the sisters, they're aware, it's like an extension for the eyelashes, so it's an eyelash which they stick on top of the eyelash to make it longer and so forth. Will that act as an obstacle when performing wudu? Sometimes they use glue and stuff to stick it on. I mean, like not glue like DIY glue, but glue specifically for the body and so forth. Can this be an obstacle when performing wudu?
We have two issues here. Number one, it is indeed obstacle for the wudu and ghusl, so they have to remove it for every wudu and ghusl, if possible, of course. If not, they can't apply it, because the wudu and ghusl would be batil if they do so. So they have to remove any obstacle on the face or the parts of a wudu and ghusl as a result. If they had to do ghusl or wudu, of course, they have to do every day. Number two, the issue is if these are known to be as beautification, if they go out, then that's an issue as well.
I see.
So if it's beautification, zina, then it's haram to reveal it in public.
From YouTube, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. Can we ask our personal prayers in wajib namaz in qanut? So when we perform qanut, can we ask our personal dua?
Yes, indeed, you can ask.
Fantastic. So, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna, from YouTube. On which Islamic day did Lady Fatima Zahra Assalamu alaiha die? On which date did the door fall on her? Very, very good question. Sheikhna, this is, from your research, what would you say is, because we have three narrations of the death of Fatima Zahra Assalamu alaiha. One is coming quite soon in December time. So which is the most mashhur or popular date? And also the attack on the door, when did that happen from your research?
Initially, the attack on the door took place the first week of Rabi' al-Awwal, possibly the 3rd, 4th, 5th, in this range of time, just a few days after the prophetic demise from this world. And we call it Ayam Muhsiniyya, the Muhsiniyya nights and days, because she miscarried this baby, Muhsin Salamullah alayh, a Sayyid of Alawi. And of course, you have after this, of course, she was fatally wounded as a result of this crash between the wall and the door. So she remained ill till she passed away, according to, because we have an issue here in terms of the writings of the narrators, that in terms of the dots, the nuqat, so it was 70 and 90. If you write 70 and 90, the wording is exactly the same. The letter is exactly the same.
And
it's just the dots.
They were missing.
If it's 70, then 75 days. If it's 90, then 95 days after.
Yes.
So that's why we have 2 Fatimiyya at least. You know, the main Fatimiyya.
Yes. Okay, furthermore, more questions come from YouTube. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. How do I read? If you could be quick with these ones, because there's so many questions coming in. How do you read Sunnah Namaz? How many rakat is it? How do I read it? Sunnah Salah, I guess the popular one is 2 rakah, prayed the same as Fajr.
Does it mean Nafila?
I'm not sure. It's not specific here. Brother or sister, whoever put that question in regards to Sunnah Namaz, is it Nawafil that were read between the prayers, or is it just a mustahab prayer that you want to? So
if he's basically from, or she's from the Ahlul Sunnah, they have their own Sunnah Namaz, so they have to refer back to.
No problem. WhatsApp us, inshallah, next week we'll be able to answer your question. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. Regarding Mutta, what are the conditions for it to be halal? And also a different question, but how can we authenticate a hadith? Authentication of a hadith, Sheikhna, that's to do with the rajal and the chain, the sanad.
Exactly, ilm al-rajal, ilm al-diraya.
Yeah, and with the mut'a, what are the conditions to be for it to be halal? I guess first of all, it needs to be with someone from the Ahl al-Kitab, and if it's a virgin lady, you have to have the father's permission.
Yes, I mean similar to the long-term marriage that we have conditions in overall, not exactly what in overall, that she must not be married. Because they accuse us, you know, the non-Shia that, you know, na'udhu billah, they do mut'ah with the married women and so forth. One of the accusations, of course. Anyhow, what is important that in the nikah contract, you have to mention, number one, or at least you agree upon the duration, it's a fixed term duration, and the mahar.
Mahar, yes.
Important, yeah.
Ahsan.
So you would say, في المدة المعلومة على المهر المعلوم. So مدة المعلومة, the mentioned term or duration. Mahr al-ma'lum, the amount of the mahar.
Next question from YouTube. Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh. Now, my husband accused me falsely of adultery without proof. I did not do anything wrong. What should I do? I am a revert convert, and my husband is of a Middle Eastern background. Falsely accusing a wife of committing adultery. Sheikh, now, what advice do you have? What should she do? First of all, does the husband have any right to accuse her of anything without any evidence and so forth?
Of course, one should fear Allah Azza wa Jal and repent to Allah Azza wa Jal from such accusations. You know, you cannot just accuse people for, especially somebody who is in your house. You know, it's so bad. So one should ask repentance and istighfar and tawbah from Allah Azza wa Jal, and to try to live in peace and harmony and happiness. One of the best, according to the narration, one of the best bina, as I mentioned in the hadith, one of the best means of bina, I'm not sure how to translate it, is the bina of the family, you know, the build of this household family of marriage, in which the Islam emphasizes that not much. And to be second, to live in peace and harmony, and with full respect. So one should go back to Allah Azza wa Jal and avoid the whispers and waswasa of the shaitan.
Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh. During Qanut in Wajib prayer, can I include the following? And it's in Arabic. Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah lahum la'an qatalatal Aba Abdullah. I don't see any issue with that.
In Salah, you're allowed to say Quran, Dua, and Dhikr. So you would say, for example, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farajhum wa lan a'da'ahum. I'm not sure about the salam, because is that part of the Dua or Quran or Dhikr, for example? That's the issue.
Yeah. Should we try and answer this next week?
Sure.
We'll put it into our research, and inshallah we'll be able to answer that, give some more clarification next week, inshallah. From YouTube, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. My husband refuses to work. I cannot work due to being handicapped. The Imam of our nearby mosque decided to help us with giving food packages away, and since then my husband accused me falsely. I see, this is in regards to that, the previous question.
I think the best thing for such disputes between the husband and the wife, to seek some nearby local mosque alim or Maulana or somebody who is expert in family issues and disputes.
Indeed.
That's the best way, to be honest.
Indeed, and also maybe some marriage counselling and also some counselling for the husband, especially if he's quite insecure. Thank you very much, Sheikhna, for all your efforts, and thank you for answering the questions. And thank you to all our viewers for joining us on this episode of Ahkam SOS. If we didn't answer your question, I do apologise. I was bombarded today with loads of questions, mashallah, and phone calls. But inshallah, we'll try and answer your questions next week on Monday. Myself and the Sheikh will be back here on Imam Hussein TV3. So if you have any questions you'd like to send in, please send them via the WhatsApp, on Facebook, on YouTube. Also, we have a TikTok account which is at Ahkam SOS. If you have TikTok, please follow us. You can ask questions there, and we're quite interactive with our followers. And we do have specific questions just for the TikTok and specific material and content just for TikTok. So please follow us there, and inshallah we'll be able to get a lot of your answers answered on that platform. Until Monday, 7 o'clock. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.
So what does Imam Hussein TV mean to me? It's a hard one. I'll be totally honest with you, Imam Hussein TV is my life.
It's been part of my journey to develop myself, to improve my learning and understanding of many subjects that I never knew before.
And also, as a parent, it has helped me bring up my kids, bring them up in a way where they can, in the future, become servants of the Holy Prophet.
Imam Hussein TV is a reminder of religion and Imam Hussein and how I should be a better person, even though it doesn't come naturally.
They really help me connect with Allah. They really help me connect with my religion, understand religion. Shows like Ahkam SOS, as I'm helping film, help set up. It just inspired me to learn about Islam, to encourage me to follow my deen and to spread it. I go to university, I spread that message throughout there. I try and share that message that I learn here.
The biggest blessing of my life was being able to serve and work at the same time.
So Imam Hussein TV to me is like a home away from home. Over here when I come in, even though everyone has their own opinion of Imam Hussein TV, as a staff member it's different, and for me it's like a sense of family. It's hard work, struggles, but at the same time there's a lot of creativity, there's passion.
When I received that one email from that one viewer saying thank you Imam Hussein TV for providing me with live feed from Karbala, thank you for giving me Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam in my home, that's what makes my job so precious to me.
There's a movement and a campaign for us to provide a better service for those people in the West, to have the message of the Ahlul Bayt in English, and also to bring Imam Hussein to the masses and to the world.
I have to ask myself every day, every month, Murtada, what are you going to do? What are you going to show on the channel in the following months to benefit the views of Imam Hussein alayhi salam? Myself, I may be in the UK, I may have 20, 30 odd Husseyniyat masajid to go to and learn during these occasions. But working at the channel, you need to think of those viewers who do not have any Husseyniyat, who do not have any books in their city or in their country. It should be a duty upon every Shi'i person in this world to give back to Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam.
As lovers of the Ahlul Bayt, we all have an inclination to the epitome of love.